And now for the second part of the interview with Majida Benali, the life coach.
I definitely see where you're going with that, and it is a life process. I could see, as we mature, we learn new things, and sometimes we're willing to give up certain things,
You
right? And
got it.
sometimes we're not. And I think it's important for people to recognize that you're constantly evolving and growing. And you want to maintain some of the good things about yourself, some of the
For
good
sure.
behaviors and things that work, and then get rid of the things that don't work. So
Bingo.
that's a wonderful way to think of it. We're a work in progress. I love that.
Thank you.
What I was thinking about when you mentioned that you have to do the work, right? And I think that's where people get sometimes turned off when they think about any type of self-development, whether it be exercising, going back to school. Those are decisions that can be tough for some people, right?
True.
Because it means putting time aside, being devoted, committed to making those changes. And it's easier as people get older to sort of feel, well, I don't have the time. There's so much more things I need to focus on. Can you give me an example of something like what kind of work, exercises that your coach gave you, and how did you implement that in your life or made it part of your routine?
First of all, I want to say about the change, and you are right, and I don't want to make it sound like it's a mountain, because we're all afraid of jumping a mountain or walking through a mountain.
Yeah.
But it's just 1% better every day. And that 1% better, that might seem nothing or not major, but it really does build up throughout the years. And the work I have been guided through with my coach is basically journaling. And it wasn't, to be honest with you, it wasn't a chore because I like writing. But then this time, the switch was basically writing everything I was feeling and putting it down, even if it sounds like it's not really important. So number one was journaling. She was telling me, please write down how's your day, how did it go, and then the second thing is basically she recommended some books that I needed to read, and I did read them. And then also she always reminded me of always, and that's both of them, my coach and my therapist, to get rid of the baseball bat and stop beating myself. And this, when she gave me the image, when she said, put that baseball bat down and stop being harsh to yourself, somehow it was an aha moment for me because I have never heard it this way. And I was imagining hitting myself, and I'm like, am I sick? So all these little small things that might not work for others, there's no magic formula. But it did help me really, truly improve who I am and want to dig even deeper and better myself because I see it, I feel it, and I sense it. And even the people around me, they're like, oh my God, what's going on with you? We love your energy. We love this. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
And so when you said journaling, and I think that probably come easier for most people, right? Because it's about writing down your thoughts, your feelings.
Introspection.
Right? Things that are happening in your life. Now, how often when you were doing the journaling, is it that you walked around with a book? I want to give people like a actual picture of what it looks like, right? So are you carrying like a journal with you, or you have it with you at work? Are you jotting everything down, or are you doing it just on the big things that are happening in the moment? Are you putting down questions?
I don't want it to be like some kind of a must-do. You get me?
Yes.
I just want it to be natural. So, for instance, you wake up in the morning, right? You do your thing. Either you make your bed, whatever your routine is. Take 5 minutes. It's not a lot for yourself. Cheer yourself. Write down how you want your day to go.
Got it.
you know, and really putting it down makes it more real, because we have so many thoughts in our head that we don't even realize which one is what.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So starting the day with 5 minutes, thinking about you. You don't have to write if you don't want to write, but just sit down, take a deep breath, and listen to your breathing. This is you me time. It's a me time. Can you find 5 minutes for a me time? I think it's the minimum we can do for ourselves, because we all go through, life is real.
Right.
So 5 minutes, and then from there, from that 5 minutes, it would grow to another 5 minutes, because you're going to start liking it. And this is where I'm going to allow, and let me slide this word. You're going to start being addictive to good stuff. You get me? You're going to be finding yourself looking forward to take this 5 minutes for yourself. Write down or do some reading, something that not necessarily, something that inspires you, that you are curious about. Just 5 minutes. And then when you come back home, the same thing. When you finish your thing, and whatever you are, wife or no wife or whatever, or, husband or no husband, at the end of the day, take 5 minutes for yourself.
Pretty much just being in touch with who you are.
That's very important.
Getting grounded. So once you realized that the journaling was effective, was there any other exercises that was part of your routine that you feel like, for people who are not into writing, for example, what else what kind of homeworks other than that did they give you that you felt like this works for me?
Well, you're going to have to find what you like. You're going to have to find, and by doing the 5 minutes in the beginning, you start knowing what you're missing. You start really, when this time, it might seem like it's nothing, but in this 5 minutes, you're going to start getting in touch with who you are, just like you said. And then you're going to see, what do you like? Is it listening to music, some soothing music? Is it writing? Is it drawing? Is it cooking? Is it cleaning? Whatever that thing might be. But you doing it, and you are present in it. And that's very important, because we are in autopilot mode. We do things systematically. We don't even think about them. And I want whoever is listening to do something that they do with pleasure, but then also being present in it. Really, like, everyone is out at this 5 minutes. It's only me and me. And I don't want it to sound like it's selfish or egocentric, but it means that caring for yourself doesn't mean it's about me, but it's actually me too.
It's good that there is a variety of different types of activities that people can implement in their life that's not going to take away from anything that they do on an ongoing basis, which is important when we want people to consider what coaching means. It's something that's to make myself a better person in the end. And as I'm going through the process, through these series of activities, I'm discovering who I am in the process.
That's exactly
and
what
discovering
it is.
what makes me happy, what makes me, feel great, things that I want in my life, things I don't want in my life. And that's what it's about, right, as we grow. Did you use some of these same techniques with individuals you coach over the years, and were they receptive? Did they use some of these techniques?
See, this is the thing. I'm very honest with my clients. And before we go into sessions and commitments, I make sure that I send them a questionnaire and ask them, what are they expecting? And if our coaching or our coaching sessions are successful, what is their outcome that they are expecting? And based on what they're telling me, because I always do 30 minutes, free session, just to see if we connect. So I'd like them to be comfortable, because that's number one. Because we're all looking for a safe place to be.
Absolutely.
And then that's number one. I want them to feel comfortable. They're not obligated, and they can be open as they are. And, tell me more about what are their expectations, what are they looking forward to accomplish, and all this. So there's a questionnaire, so I send them this questionnaire and they answer, and based on what they tell me, I come up with a plan and a strategy. There is no exact equation. There is no magic formula. We all different in our beautiful ways, and we all unique. Your DNA and my DNA are completely different, and so I can't just tell them, you know what, do writing. It worked for me.
Right.
It depends. I mean, this is what I like about coaching, because I learn from my client. I really do. It's so as ironic as it might sound, I really do, because I listen to them. And whatever works for the person I am coaching, that's all what I want. It's not, I don't want to inculcate them or inject them with, okay, do this, as they did to us in school.
Right.
No,
Right,
I don't
right.
want to do that, because you end up being frustrated and you don't want to do it.
Right. You want them to love what they're doing. Because
Yes.
it is, like you said, you are stuck with yourself for the rest of your life, right?
Thank you.
So you want to do things that are going to make you happy and
Exactly.
genuinely want to do it.
Exactly.
So I like that you set a goal in the very beginning by it's really a SMART goal, right? It's specific, it's measurable, right?
Yes.
It makes people feel like, okay, I'm investing in this. I know that I have a time frame. And if it doesn't work to my liking, I can always back out, try something different. But it would not have been a waste of time, which I like that what you said about that, right? Because it's never a waste of time to work on yourself. And you might discover things very early on, and that's maybe what you needed out of it, right? And is that okay, by the way? People ever said, okay, well, I'm happy where I am at this point of the process of the coaching. I want to stop now. Does that happen?
Absolutely. And, it's always good to, and I always keep a good relationship with my clients, because they can always text me or email me and ask me a question. It's not like because our contract or our, commitment has ended, that's it. Because I'm a human being before being a coach. And I really, want to touch heart and change lives and better the humanity. So, sometimes they are enough for 6 months, and sometimes it's more, and it's up to them. And yes, I have encountered clients who actually are not even interested in, because they think that's the way they want to be. And
Okay.
that's completely okay.
Right.
Whatever rocks your boat. I
Right,
mean, if
right.
that's what works for you, good for you, more power to you.
Right.
But then my personal view, and I don't want it to feel like I'm influencing anyone, I think and I believe and I know that without you from inside flourishing, accepting who you are, loving who you are for all your imperfections and inadequacies and all those, because it's only natural. We have the radio me who keeps bugging. You are this, you are that, you are this, and the other one that's telling you you're good and this. So
Yeah, because sometimes we can get counter voices, not just from in our own heads, but from around in our environment, from people.
Well,
you
let
know.
alone,
Yeah.
let alone the surrounding.
Right.
We are our own enemies. And for me, not wanting to face that enemy because you think you're okay, I mean, more power to you. What can I say? Because I do believe that we all need some cleaning inside. I really do.
I like that.
It's not a luxury, and it's a necessity, because, I mean, I encounter people and I sit with people and I talk to people, and everything about them says help. Because there's something about them missing. Their body is one part and their soul is another. They're not present. And you don't feel it. You feel it right away. And if you tell me, okay, because you're successful or you're a doctor or you are, I don't know, and you think this is success, more power to you. But I think it comes from here, out, not the other way.
That is an important
Thank you.
way of looking at it. So how is this different? So I'm hearing a lot of similarities with what a therapist does. How is this different? Because I know you mentioned this too before, that it's not mental health, right? How is it different? How is coaching different?
Well, it is, in a sense, a mental health, but it's not a mental health that digs deeper in the past. But I'm more into looking forward, inciting the client to look for new resourceful ways, and most of the time, people that come to coaching have been to therapy.
Got
And
it.
they are familiar with this process, and they are welcoming the idea of coaching. Because coaching, if you will, it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to give you an image. It's like finishing up the work of the therapist. It's like the final touch, the polishing.
Mental health, I think people do have the option of doing psychotherapy where they delve deeper into their childhood. And sometimes people are not ready to go there. And like a coach, I think a therapist also considers like, what is it that you want to focus on? Because sometimes people they might have traumatic situations they're not ready to divulge, right? Regardless of the avenue they seek, whether it is coaching or it is a clinical mental health counselor, some people may not be ready to delve that deeper. So I can see how when people making decisions, like what is it that I want to focus on? Because I may go to a therapist and the therapist may ask me questions that trigger for me things that happened in my childhood. Whereas the
Completely.
coach is more, I guess you're saying that it's more focused on how can I move forward from where I am now? What is it that I need to do?
Or inciting you to find different avenues, to think different ways, to widen your perspective, to ample your vision, because there's always a way.
Right.
There's always a way. It might not seem the way that we've been doing, but there is a way. But if we keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, hello? We are stuck in our own ways. We are limited when there is a lot of other ways, a lot of avenues, a lot of resources, So this is where coaching is helpful and insightful and inspiring and, guiding you through finding other avenues. They are within you. I'm not giving you anything. I'm just taking off the dust off that.
Yes, to help you make that connection. It is a very interesting field, to say the least. And I've learned so much from you having this discussion, and I'm hoping that we can have another session where we could talk more ideas about strategies for people to use. And also, where can people find you?
Okay, I have a website, and it's mindfullypowerful.com.
Okay.
And also, I am kind of getting there in social media, which is also Magic Happens.
Oh, I like that. Magic happens.
Well, it comes from my name, Majida, and magic.
It was so wonderful having this
here.
discussion,
Thank
and I'm
you
looking
so
forward to
very
more.
much.
And this was great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.